Many of us involved in anime or even K-pop have heard the word cosplay or costume play. Whether you've cosplayed yourself, been to a convention, or have just been surfing through Instagram, cosplay has gotten a lot more popular as the years go on. But as popular as cosplay is, when did it really start? And how did it come to the US? We will briefly be touching on the history of cosplay here, so I hope you enjoy. And if you'd like a more in-depth video, please let me know as well. Dressing up is not a new thing. Throughout history, people have dressed up for various reasons. For celebrations, for funerals, for holidays, and for other religious and cultural practices. Halloween, Mardi Gras, masquerade balls, and Dia de los Muertos are just a few religious and cultural practices in which people dress up. So why do we dress up? In this particular instance, it depends on the culture. If we take Halloween for example, the ancient Celtic people would wear costumes to ward off ghosts, and so they themselves would not be mistaken for a spirit. At a masquerade ball, the mask is most important, so that the wearer can hide their identity. In some instances, the mask was used so that the wearer could partake in inappropriate behavior without judgment or consequence. In general, humans dress differently for religious and cultural practices to switch roles. Instead of your everyday festivities, you're now partaking in something holy, such as church or religious holiday, or you're celebrating a new birth, a death, or the coming of a new season. It's also a form of creative expression and allows us to express ourselves in a non-verbal way. Wearing a certain type of clothing can also make us feel more confident. Of course, these are only a few instances of why people change their attire. There are much deeper cultural reasons why people dress up, and if you'd like me to go more in depth, then please let me know, as I've hardly touched the surface. So how does this lead to cosplay? Well, the history of dressing up shows that humans enjoy enhancing their beauty, as well as having an opportunity to be someone or something else. This doesn't necessarily mean being someone else is a bad thing. It can be liberating and free, and actually allow for someone to be truly themselves. Wearing something you wouldn't normally wear allows you to be away from your normal life. It allows you to get away from stress and unhappiness, even just for a little. Now that we've briefly discussed the history of dressing up, let's find out how cosplay came to the West. To find how cosplay came to the West, we have to look to Japan first. Although most sources report that Japan did not cosplay until at least 30 years after World War II. About the late 1970s, early 80s, Leiji Matsumoto, a manga artist, recalls cosplaying with his friends soon after World War II. Due to the devastation of World War II, many documents of earlier instances of cosplay have most likely been lost. The earliest documented formal costume convention in Japan was in 1974. Miyakon was the name of this convention and was held in Kyoto, Japan from August 3rd to the 4th. I did find a convention called Meikon held in Tokyo, Japan in 1962, but that was solely found on Wikipedia, so I cannot say for sure if that was the earliest convention or not. So cosplay must have come to the US in the 80s, right? Actually, Americans dressed up as their science fiction favorites a lot earlier than that. In the 1880s, there was one of the first conventions of popular culture called Golden Hours. Although there weren't any costumes, at least formally documented, the convention was held in favor of sci-fi and fantasy books, one of the first of its kind. But now, onto conventions that integrated cosplaying. In 1912, the Seattle Star reported of August Olson winning first prize at a masked ball dressed as Mr. Skygak from Mars, if you don't believe that counts since it was a masquerade ball. In 1939, Forrest J. Ackerman and his then-girlfriend, Morojo, went to the first World Science Fiction Convention, or what came to be known as Worldcon, in New York, dressed in costumes from the movie Things to Come. Morojo had designed and made both her and Ackerman's costumes. Fans of Worldcon loved this concept, and at the next Worldcon, an unofficial masquerade was held in Morojo's room, and an official masquerade as part of the program. Participants of the official program performed skits in the masquerade as well. In 1994, Ackerman was given an award at the 52nd Worldcon, recognizing him as the father of convention costuming. In 2016, the International Costumes Guild recognized Morojo as the mother of convention costuming, with a video award presentation at the 74th Worldcon. Even so, cosplaying grew slowly. By 1970, Comic-Con held its first convention with only 170 attendees. A decent amount for the time, but still small comparatively, but we'll touch on this later. In 1984, Nobuyuki Takahashi, an anime producer, attended the World Science Fiction Convention in Los Angeles. Takahashi saw fans dressed up at the convention and went to write an article about his experience for the Japanese magazine My Anime. My Anime was a magazine dedicated to otaku interests and ran from April 1981 till July 1986. Takahashi didn't want to use the English word masquerade since it didn't convey the experience of the convention and the cosplaying guests. Instead, he used the Japanese method of abbreviation, in which the first two moras of a pair of words are combined. Takahashi took the words costume and play to create cosplay, and thus cosplay as a term was born. Although we use this word constantly, the term cosplay didn't catch on until the 1990s, when anime pop culture was introduced in magazines and television. The spread of cultures from Japan and America were now exposed to each other. So you could argue that Nobuyuki Takahashi helped spread the word of cosplay, pushing it to grow to what it has become today. Since then, cosplay has exploded. Anime Expo, which is arguably one of the biggest US anime conventions, went from only 1,750 attendees in 1992 to 115,000 attendees in 2019. MomoCon, a major southern convention, had only 700 attendees in 2005 to 39,000 attendees in 2019. Katsucon, which can be argued as the biggest convention for the eastern part of the US, had 500 attendees in 1995 to 21,000 in 2019. Not only have conventions grown, but so has the industry as a whole. Websites solely dedicated to selling cosplays have become more frequent. These websites used to sell alright costumes. Some were even on par with Halloween costumes, some a little better. But nowadays, pre-made cosplay costumes are of higher quality and more accessible and available. Allied Market Research determined that the global cosplay costume market was valued at $4,625 million in 2020 and is projected to reach $23,008.3 million by 2030. Although I personally couldn't find data on the impact of cosplay conventions and hotels, you have to assume the hotel industry benefits heavily from cosplay. Not only do conventions pay to have hotels allow for their show, attendees also pay for their hotel rooms. There's also food and beverages being bought at the hotel convenience stores and restaurants. So not only do businesses benefit from cosplay, but cosplayers have now benefited from cosplay as well. As social media has grown to be a profitable business, cosplaying has also as a result. Cosplayers can make money in a number of different ways. Sponsorships, streams, convention invites, prints, donations, costume commissions, the list can go on. It's hard to exactly pinpoint how much a cosplayer makes. Just like with any other creative job, income fluctuates. There are some cosplayers who have hinted at or have just straight up told how much they make. Let's take a look at them. Inako, one of Japan's biggest cosplayers, revealed to have earned 100 million yen, or about 876,885 USD so far in 2021. Stella Chu, a well-known cosplayer, told CNBC that she earned up to a six-figure salary from cosplaying. Chu also makes money from doing cosplay commissions to add on to her salary. Yaya Han is yet another extremely well-known cosplayer, and Sotaku approximated her salary at $102,000 a year, but that it could be higher due to her new cosplay fabric line at Joann's. All this data shows just how big cosplay has become. What was once an obscure hobby has now grown into a profitable career. Of course, many cosplayers use many different modes to make money, and money's not always consistent. This creates a lot of competition in the cosplay community, which can be good but also very bad. But that's a whole video in itself. Cosplay had an interesting development. The history of humans' desire for dressing up has helped shape what us cosplayers do today. We enjoy dressing up, looking good, showing off our work, and being able to be ourselves without judgment. Cosplay had quite the journey. If you think about it, we went from masquerade balls to, well, a masquerade ball, but just without the dancing. I guess some dancing. But instead of wearing a mask to hide who we are, we're instead embracing and expressing ourselves. Just as different characters. Characters we relate to and love. Cosplaying has always sort of been there, just disguised as different things. We just didn't have a name for it, but now we do. It's amazing how people who secretly love the same things were finally able to come together and create another way of expression. Cosplay does not seem to be going away anytime soon. There will always be new animes, movies, TV shows, and video games for people to enjoy and cosplay from. I'm excited to see where cosplay will go. Will it become more accepted, or will it just stay a niche? I'd like to hear your thoughts on cosplay's journey to the West and where you think it'll go. As always, thank you guys so much for watching my video. This is a little bit different than what I normally do, and it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while. More of a research-driven video. Please let me know if you like this type of video and if you want to see more. Of course, I'm going to be doing reviews and some other stuff I have planned as well, but this is definitely something that I've been thinking about doing, and although it's kind of a short video, it's just like a test, I guess. So let me know, and if I do another one of these research type videos, I do want to make them a lot longer. So please let me know your feelings and thoughts about this video, and I'll see you guys next time, and thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.